Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. It's presented by the Navy Federal Credit Union. Excited to talk a little track and field with Alexa Arthun this week. Alexa, we've interviewed countless Navy athletes through the years. Not sure any have had the diversity in their background that you have had. Let's start, obviously, with your track background. You've participated in a ton of events, different disciplines through the years. What's been your favorite and why such a diverse menu in your track and field participation?
I believe I've always had a love-hate relationship with pole vault. So even growing up, my parents both vaulted in college, and my mom coached all through when I was out of second grade, clear through high school. So I'd say that's probably why I kind of dabble in a little bit of everything, because she made me do everything and always in times when I probably didn't want to. I remember pole vaulting when it was snowing and raining, sleet, slush. I'd land in the pit and it was a terrible condition. And I was like, always asking her, why am I even doing this right now? She's like, oh, it's good for you. So I think in a way I've carried kind of the same mindset throughout even college career of even if I don't like this event, or if it's not going well, then I know I'm gonna get something out of it at the end of the day. And also just the team camaraderie too. You're both suffering together in every event. I think hurdles is more fun personally. I just because obviously when you have more success in one thing, then you start to like it a little more. But it's also the same relationship though. I know sometimes when there's that one thing that you have to critique, and that once you get it, it'll be good, but just always missing the mark then can start to get a little frustrating. But it's that confidence and patience that you have to have with yourself to know that it'll work out.
Obviously, your parents were competitors at the Division I level, so they kind of had at least a way to prepare you for all of this. Is maybe too the versatility in the case of when you come to a track and field program, you never know where there may be an opportunity to participate and a chance to contribute, and maybe having knowledge and being able to participate in some of those things, because you never know where your team may ask you to help out.
Exactly. I think I never thought that I would be on a relay, I guess, scenario. And I'm sure there's a lot of girls on the team who are in the same way, getting thrown into different events. But like you said, I mean, at the end of the day, it's for Army coming up, and even Patriots, everyone's got to leave everything out there regardless. And it's always a good lesson at the end of the day, like you mentioned.
Obviously, when you're hurdling, it's just you, that tunnel vision, your lane, the hurdles. What's the difference in the dynamic though with the relay? Because it's more than just running there. There's so much technique and timing and everything that goes into it. What makes a successful relay team like you've been a part of?
I think confidence and cohesiveness just within the relay itself, knowing that regardless of what happens, especially with 4x1 handoffs, or the timing's got to be, you can't really mess up much there, especially in a close competition, let's say with Army. So I think that's huge. But the stuff like 4x4, being able to have those girls who are they'll get after it no matter what. They'll dive at the line. They'll maybe they'll cut too early and they'll freaking lay it all out on the first 200, which might get them in the butt later. But at least they're gonna get in front of whatever the other competition it is, and that might be the confidence factor that they need to shut the other team down. So I love the tactics of relays. Really, it's a lot of fun.
Where does your enthusiasm and zest for all of this come from? Because you have an electric personality. And I think anytime that, people have seen any types of interviews with you, and obviously our interactions with you, there's a level of excitement. You seem to have that about this team and about competing. Where does that come from?
Oh man, where does it come from? I think specifically just with track, I think because it's just been such a big part of my life forever, as it seems like. So there's just a lot of passion towards it. And I know that most of my most fond memories that I even have come from, meets and my teammates, and even my closest friends here are like teammates that I have on the team. So it's really just all the memories and relationships that I've had throughout the years. I can thank track and field for that. So, so yeah.
I was gonna say, when you think back to, you started at Naps, and those relationships that get built, the folks that are still around with you, that says something, that means something, because there's some people that start that journey that aren't around here at the end like this. What's been the key to getting to this point, not only just as a track athlete, but everything that you and your class and others around you have had to endure during your time here at the Naval Academy? It just hasn't been the regular student athlete experience.
Mhm. I think the key truly is loving each other in a way that not only keeps each other accountable, because I know there's been a lot of situations, especially with COVID, when we had to practice on our own, and a bunch of meets got canceled and stuff. Like, really just keeping an eye out for one another, not only just in the track and field sense, hanging out and just talking. Sometimes I know that we'll sit around after practice and just vent, for maybe an hour or more, which we usually never really have time for realistically, but we make it happen because we know that's what we need to do at the end of the day.
Is that part of that mental health that I think a lot of times we take for granted, and everything, especially those of us that understand the challenges you all go through there, just being a student, let alone being a student athlete? Is that part of that mental health aspect that you all help each other through? Because you really need it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Coming up this week, the marquee says it all. How do you maintain focus during the week and try not to peak too early in preparation for what you hope will be another opportunity to win a star this weekend?
Mhm. I think nerves are good, and excitement is good, but like you said, keeping it at a level where you can focus your energy. I kind of I mentioned to the team earlier, just like envisioning success. I know like a lot of doctors do it and stuff before they go into deep surgery, and knowing exactly what that cut will look like in every single moment that you have to get through. But same applies for the meet going forward, is focusing your energy of just like thinking about what that hurdle will look like, what that jump will look like, what that handoff will look like during the competition. I think is a healthy way to get your mind prepared without getting overly anxious about it too.
You participated in 3 different sports in high school. I got to ask you about the football experience. Putting on the helmet, putting on the shoulder pads, getting out there and participating in a sport. Look, let's face it, I think there are a lot of women like you that think about that and would want to do it, but kind of, back away from a courage standpoint. What made you follow through with it and go through with it?
Support's huge. I know that my family supported me, and continues to, regardless of what decisions I make with stuff like that. I think something that I've read once, or found someone, I have it written right here actually, is what would you do if you knew you could not fail, kind of thing. So just having that that mindset of really believing that it's going to work out at the end of the day, and there's no really true thing as failure unless you let yourself down. So
Is that a case too of having people around you that allow you to make independent decisions? And as we well know, at some point, we have to walk away from mom and dad. At some point we got to be on our own. We got to think for ourselves. But having that support system that allows you to do that, is that something that, sometimes maybe we take for granted, but obviously something that you had in your background?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's something that the academy honestly does pretty well once you find your group or your niche. Because I think there's even if it's with teams or ECAs or whatever the case is, you're gonna find your group and your niche that's gonna support you, and like sticking true to those people regardless. Like, even if it's an exhausting week and you're like, oh man, I don't want to do anything, even if it's a Friday and I'm like worn out, but just taking that time to still hang out with those people and let them care for you and you care for them, and vice versa.
I feel like we could do this for about a half hour, but I know the time is limited. I appreciate so much taking the time for us this morning. Best of luck to you and your teammates this weekend, and bring back another star. Appreciate the time today.
Thank you. Thank you,
You
Pete.
got it.
Thank you.